Good afternoon all, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Improve Construction Project Margins by Integrating Your Field with Your Back Office. My name is Jackie Thrasaboulos, and I am Vice President of Marketing at B4 Consulting. Today's session will have a few introductions on our speakers and a little bit about B4 Consulting. Then we'll look at our construction solution that's designed for small and mid-sized general contractors and specialty trade firms. We'll look at our solution demo that will take a look at field operations integrated with your back office as well as field mobility capabilities. We'll wrap it up with a summary and a short Q&A. I'd like to introduce you to today's speakers. Philip Schell is Vice President of Industry Solutions at B4 Consulting. His deep industry experience in construction and home building and is an expert in asset management. Some of Philip's client engagements have included Dominion Energy, the Kiewit Construction Group, and the Minto Group. We're delighted as well to be joined by Mike Newberry. Mike is President of Contractors Business Systems, and Mike is a 40-year construction industry veteran. He's certified a mechanical contractor, and he's a master plumber and general contractor. With over 30 years of consulting to the GC industry, he has built more than $4 billion worth of residential, commercial, and multifamily projects. Mike really is an expert in modern software solutions for the construction industry, and he's going to give you some insights into those solutions today and how they can help you improve your profit margins on your next construction project. With that, I'd like to hand the session over to Philip Schell, who will tell us a little bit about B4 Consulting. Philip?
Thank you, Jackie, and thanks for everyone for joining us this afternoon. A little bit about B4 before we go into the solution where we want to spend most of our time today. As you can see, we were established in the late 90s by business management consultants, and we still have those roots today, and our business management consultants have a deep industry experience and focus. And if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see what those industries are. We have a commitment to the engineering and construction and operations value chain all the way through from the engineers and architects and the professional services to the real estate community, especially owner and operators of real estates in their portfolio, field service, equipment management, and of course a line of business play with the owners, whether it be telecom or utilities, where they're also managing construction projects. If you look in the lower left-hand corner in the business solutions and the services we provide, you'll see that we have both an on-premise and a cloud-based ERP and application solutions that we work with our clients with. We work with commercial project management and capital project management applications and business processes for people managing large capital projects. And we also have a deep focus on estimating, especially in the self-perform business segments around budgeting and forecasting and estimating. We have enterprise document management applications and services we provide. And one of the ones that is growing in a new area is the area of visual procurement, as you see at the bottom, in an area where we are integrating CAD and DIM data models to procurement models, which is getting a lot of folks excited about this new functionality. But today we're going to focus primarily on an on-premise back office solution, very powerful, that is integrated very, very tightly to a cloud-based construction management solution, giving you an end-to-end capability to run your entire business and to contribute to those margins. So let me show you a little bit about who we've been working with and the different industry segments that we have experience in. LP Simonelli & Turner are clients that represent some of our general contracting experiences. Kiewit, Zachary, and Fluor are our clients that we work with that are have large self-perform operations. And you can see the Minto Group, Dominion Energy, Irvine Company, just as small examples of some of the owners that we work with their construction processes. And Transfield and Oric as construction services that are provided out in the field. And our equipment clients are Amico and Brandt that have equipment management business processes, and also their equipment is used in the construction projects of all of our clients. So a little bit about our technology and our point of view about our technology. First, you'll see that we have what we call outside in, is that we think that focusing on the field is extremely important. We believe that it's in the field where this business is won and lost on a daily basis, and the field needs to have information at its fingertips and to give information to drive the right decision-making process to all of the events that are happening out in the field on a job site. You'll also see in the lighter blue color of those bubbles some very tightly integrated core construction applications that the construction industry needs. Visual design and construction that is integrated to estimating integrated to project management and controls, integrated to scheduling, all of it to give real-time job cost information that the field needs and the back office needs. And then there in the middle is a core ERP or a back office solution. And it's our belief that these solutions are supposed to be processing the data coming from the field, but not necessarily the solution that the field uses to do their job out of the field. And Mike is going to show you today this point of view of our technology in a real live field operations or construction demo in our field operations app. So, Mike?
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone here. My name is Mike Newberry, and I'll be presenting our field solutions here today in the cloud. Over here, I at least want to start with the main menu here, the navigation part of our field office solutions. We have contact management, which is going to contain the list of all your customers, vendors, architects, engineers. We have the ability to generate and create opportunities, what we call leads, and track them, even do an estimate against those. And then, of course, we have the project information once it becomes an actual opportunity that turns into a project. And then there's Vendor Hub, HR, email, and analytics. Where I want to start today here is in project. And when we go in and we create and set up a project, we then go in and load the drawings. And after we load the drawings and the project information is set up, we move on down and we prepare the estimate. And here we have a embedded estimating tool. And for those that want to do a comparison of the power of this tool, there's other products on the market like a Sage product or ProEst and some of those other systems out there in the market. We are equal power to that. So it's a very powerful, and actually we do a lot more in the way of bidding and procurement. Down here we have contract admin, which deals with the customers. We have procurement that deals with all of our vendors, purchasing, subcontract control, time and expense entry, correspondence, documentation, quality and safety, and of course embedded scheduling, much like Microsoft Project. So we'll go into that. But first I want to start into estimating. We'll go ahead and we'll select the project here. And then when we go in and we're viewing the estimate, we're viewing the estimate dashboards here. And again, when we can have multiple estimates as part of a project or lead. Over here is actions, where we can add an estimate. We also have the ability to import from Excel. Sometimes we have those specialty trades that just have specialized software, but you still need the ability to go ahead and bring that into the estimate to do the procurement and finishing out the bid process. We can also compare multiple estimates together. And this sometimes when we're dealing with alternates and comparing the difference between this estimate versus maybe scope change, or from a various percentage of drawings, from conceptual drawings to construction drawings, and what are the difference. Let's go ahead and drill into the estimate here. When we drill into the estimate here, of course, we get to the properties, view the estimate in its takeoff sheet. And very quickly here, I just want to chat a little bit about the takeoff sheet. And up here at the top, we have details, which is what you're looking at here. And down below, we'll have the work breakdown structure elements. And when this moves over to project management, this will actually, we define what level we want to be the job cost code when we move over to project management. Over here are the cost items, and there's multiple ways to enter in the cost items. We can add from a cost database. We can build our own database. We can add special items on the fly. Many different ways. We can copy in estimates and templates. We can actually copy in sections of another estimate and to create the detail here. We also have scope where we can define and import in the scope, which will present on the proposal when you print that out for the client. The bid management part here is where we do the request for pricing. And the first part of setting up bid management here, we create what we call the RFP packages, request for pricing. The best way to do that is to import it in from the estimate, but you can create them manually. Once you create the RFP package, what we next do is we add in the bidders. And we can define their work scope, inclusions and exclusions, and down here we can import in the bidders. And once we import in the bidders, we're going to import in the items, typically from the estimate. So when we go out and send a detailed invite, which will have a hyperlink for them to come back through the portal, they can actually submit their pricing, and you'll get a notification that they have priced, and you can come in and take a look at it. Once everyone is priced here, we're going to run the bid analysis. In the bid analysis, our estimating tool here has the ability to create the lowest items. Not all the time is it the lowest bidder, but you might want to create different package items and award it. Or we can select the lowest bidder. And over here again, you can see our the winning bidder. From that, we do the award. And this process here, actually what we're doing behind the scenes is we have the ability to create the procurement document. So when we award a vendor, we can award and create the subcontract with the detail, or we can create a purchase order if that vendor happens to be a supplier. The award only does not change the estimate. However, when we award and reset M, L, E, S, or O, material, labor, subcontract, equipment, or other, it actually resets that with the RFP. And again, you could do a comparison estimate from what you actually had in there and compare it against what the buyout was. Many different ways to approach that. Global markups is where you add markups to the estimate. Summary is just a graphical presentation of the estimate, and then of course we're going to run the reports. One of the beauty parts of a tool like this and being in the cloud is it's multi-user, so you can have multiple estimators in different locations all working on the estimate, or you could be completely mobile in a hotel room working on it. So it's complete multi-user record locking in the cloud. Here is the estimate proposal format, and we can format that proposal in any level, 1 or 2, or depending on how many levels you go deep. We can present how we want to present the totals. We can present and show items, item descriptions, and down here we can actually load your custom proposal. So if you have a special proposal format, we can certainly load that, and then when we go in here, we can create that, print it, email it to the customer right from within here. Now what I'm going to do is just create the proposal as an example here. And you can see here, you can have your logo, estimate proposal. You've got your qualifications, inclusions, exclusions, clarifications, and such. And then down here, how I formatted the proposal to present to the client. And then I can email again this directly to my potential client. Now let's go ahead and go back and also, I'm sorry, I just want to mention we do have the ability to export to Excel. A lot of times you want to take this and move this estimate out into Excel, and we have different formats of how we want to send it out into Excel. Let's go ahead and close in estimating now, and let's move into the menu here where we go to Contract Admin. Contract Admin, or those features, Procurement, whichever that you click onto, always brings up a dashboard. And when you start creating records in that, as you can see, I've got 38 job cost codes, 2 prime contracts. We deal with multiple primes, fixed lump sum, cost plus, with or without GMP, change orders, prime invoices. All of this information we can get back to a calendar view, cost budget overview, analytics is your dashboard. You can see the actions over here. So if I want to create a prime contract using the wizard, we can do that. And when we create that, we can actually build it from the estimate, or we can create it from Excel or Excel templates and so on and so forth. Let's go back to the menu here, or go back to Contract Admin. Another way to add documents on the fly is up here what we call Create New. And this is another way to quickly go in. If I want to create a purchase order, or if I want to create a subcontract, I want to do a change proposal request or a change order or a prime invoice, I can do that right from here in the Create New. Let's take a look at the prime invoice. And when we create documents in here, we always create what we call a listing. And these listings here have different reports that you can customize. I'll just pull up one here which can be exported out to Excel or PDF or Word in any format. So this is a lot of nice information here that's right available at your fingertips with the click of a button. Let's go ahead and double click and bring up an invoice because I want to demonstrate one of the invoice formats we have in the system here is the AIA 702-703. And when you're looking at the prime invoice, again, when you scroll down, you immediately got an invoice summary here of your contract, any changes, invoicing, retention that's being held, retention summary. We actually also do all the lien releases and print that. Let's go up here at the top and print out this invoice. And again, we have different formats of how we want to present that invoice. We'll go ahead and send this out to Word here. And again, this is important for like a lot of specialty trades where you're dealing with like general contractors, I know as an example. A lot of times they have their own version of this and they want all their payment applications to be presented on their document. So here you can see this is the 702 right here, tracking completed and work completed and stored, retention, and then down here, of course, you have your continuous sheet, which you go down what we call the schedule of values. Now again, when you go back to any of the features here, we can get quick visibility to the dashboards. And down here, what we call analytics, this is one way to get quickly back to it. We have all of these job cost detail. And one of the benefits of a project manager or of this solution for a project manager is immediate real-time visibility to manage risk and exposure of your project. And these have all the job cost reports here that you need because a lot of times as you're entering and processing these documents, because we do that in the field operations part of it, this information may not even be posted back to the back office yet. So immediately here you can go in and you can get a quick overview. I'll just show a couple of the reports here and then we'll move on. We always bring summary details. And then down here we've got just an example of a report. We can always select other dashboards. We can combine multiple projects or prime contracts in a report. We can do it all by a date range. And here's another report that's a good one, estimated versus what's committed. And this report here, again, this shows the detail on the cost side of things from the estimate. And these are the transaction types where the money anticipated cost is your forecast left to spend. And then down here we've got our detail. We also have a lot of graphs. The visibility picture is worth 1,000 words sometimes. And then down here again is all the detail of this. And then of course when you're looking at this, if something goes awry and you want to look into that detail, even though again this may not be posted back to back office, by clicking on the job cost code we can get to the detail of the transactions immediately. Let's quickly move into procurement now. And in the procurement dashboard, again, we have 32 anticipated costs here that are forecasted. We have 6 RFP packages, purchase orders, bills, subcontracts, again, actions over here. And again, down here, you can get quick overview. You can look at open POs or open subcontracts with just a mouse click. And you can print out these listings here. You can filter it, look at different ways of looking at this report. Again, a mouse click and you're back to procurement. Time and expense is a way to enter in time cards. Again, with our specialty trades especially, we run into this where we have multiple tradesmen out on the field, maybe 50, 60, and of course your labor can get away from you in a heartbeat. So being able to enter in your time real time and then post it back to payroll whenever they're ready to do the payroll back there, you've got visibility all the time in the dashboards of where your production rate is and if you're over or under or anticipated of what you're going to spend on the time by just entering in the time and expense. And again, there's different ways to enter in labor time cards, daily time cards, weekly. We can also do this from our mobile device if you want to enter time in the field. We have correspondence, documentation, and quality and safety. So again, for those contractors out there that are using multiple platforms, Word, Excel, maybe you're on your server and creating multiple file folders to store all this information and keep it straight. Immediately you can almost use our field solution right out of the box here by just setting up the project in your company, and we can eliminate all those multiple platforms, and we can deal with correspondence, which is issues and submittals, and transmittals, punch lists, document control, daily logs, job meetings, quality and safety, for safety inspections, what's going on out there, scheduling. Let's take a look at scheduling here. We can have multiple schedules to a project, and the benefit here is that depending on the progression of the project, you may have a preliminary schedule out there, but now that you've got construction drawings, you want to do a new schedule. We could also do a schedule based on phases. There's a lot of different ways or reasons why we might want to have multiple schedules to a project. Let's take a look at this one here, and let's view it. So what we're doing here is we're building the Gantt chart. And again, we can import in from an XML file format, so we can support any scheduling tool out there if you want to bring it into the cloud. And again, through the portal, you're able to share this schedule with your customers. Your vendors can see when they're supposed to be out there on the job. We're tracking the work as what's been not started. Started will be in green. Completed will be in yellow. We also can take this schedule here, and we can look at it in a calendar view. And I know as a project manager, I've been a project manager for many years. I know a lot of times back in the day, I'd pick up the phone and call my superintendent, where are you at on the job? I'm managing maybe 10 or 15 jobs at a time, and I really need to know what's going on out there. I can't get there today. But since that schedule is being updated daily from our mobile app devices here, where we can just go in and put in the duration or where that scheduling is, I have visibility right here on my calendar of what's started, what's not started, what's completed will be in yellow, and I can also email reminders. So as we set up where we get to resource view here, the resource is actually companies in that are tied to that, where we can actually send that email out and alert the vendor, or you even could do a resource attached. It could be an employee if you've got crews out there. So again, just in summary, just to run down, we've got projects. This is when you set up the, when it's been awarded, and now we're underway here. Vendor Hub, HR, email, and your analytics down here for all your dashboards. So with that said, Philip, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay. And Jackie, I think you can see my screen now, and just want everybody to see that we're now in the back office solution. This is Business One, and you'll see that it's a lot more than just a back office. We have full access to the field operations module that Mike just demonstrated. I can drill down into that module like Mike was illustrating and get to the same data if I wanted to. If I was in the back office doing a job accounting, might want to take a look here at these cost items. I might want to come up and take a look at a subcontract invoice that I might be working on. I want to see the original invoice and how that was laid out. So in our back office solution, we have full access to the field solution as another module to all these other modules that you see over here on the left-hand side. The way that the user interacts in Business One, you have a choice. You can do the traditional method of the menu-driven drop-downs over here, or it can be more visual and laid out in a business process. So depending on your security access, you would see then what you have security to work on or what your role should be. This is a full demo system, so you're going to see everything, which would definitely not be the case in most situations. So you can see that under the financial menu, there's a lot of transactions that you're able to have access to. Let's just kind of start with the chart of accounts and the power of Business One's chart of accounts. It's very robust, and it has a very easy way to interact with it. You can see over here in these file cabinet type of navigation, you can get right to those account segments that you need to be working on or that you're going to be working on that particular day or in that transaction. Move this out of the way. If you were going to work on period closing, you have all these transactions that you would have access to, and of course you have access to all the financial, all these financial reports. The other part of the system is in the AR side, and it is very powerful as well. So as Mike was demonstrating, creating that 701 and 702 invoice, as soon as that is created out in the field, it creates in the back office this accounts receivable transaction, so that we can now manage the entire accounts receivable process inside of the back office solution, including any aging or receivables aging that we need to do. We have very similar functionality with the purchasing module and handling all of the accounts payable. So as soon as something in the field, as Mike was showing you, as the materials were being received and goods receipts were created, it will create then an accounts payable invoice for you to manage in Business One as well. And of course, every construction company, when you have your accounts payable and you have your accounts receivable, it's very important to do the cash flow forecasting of those transactions as they're now in Business One. And you can do full cash flow forecasting at a project and across projects. And these are the different business objects that you can make relevant into this cash forecast. Very important for construction companies. Business One also has a full banking module for you to manage your relationship with your bank and the transactions. You can see the incoming payments, the deposits, the outgoing, full bank statements, including your check registry as well on banking. If your operations include inventory and the requirements to manage inventory, you can have full inventory management, including the use of barcodes, the ease to transactions. You have visibility of your inventory with locations, and of course the impact of the inventory cost into your. If you have a fab shop, or if you're wanting to move into modular construction, as a lot of construction companies are, you can have this production module turned on and have full bill of material functionality, full production order functionality, so you can develop production orders and you can confirm into those production orders materials and time and cost them properly to go install as part of your construction project. If you are thinking about adding a service component and offering maintenance contract to your owner, Business One also has a service module that allows you to create work orders, have a call center, and to have a work order that goes out and completes work, costed, and then also with markups so that you can bill from that work order to the owner. You can also set up your equipment out in the field and service your equipment through this service module as well. So I think you can see that there's more than just the back office as a general ledger here in our back office solution. And you can have access in this single user interaction to both your field operations module and your complete back office module. And it comes with a full rich reports run off of HANA reporting, reporting on all of these components. So I think it's easy to see that there's a lot of information here at your fingertips and how you would interact with the system very easily in Business One. We also know that, as Mike was showing you, the interaction that you would have with the field operation is really through the mobile app, and we wanted to show you this real quickly as the way that you would navigate in the field, not setting at the computer screen as Mike was showing you on the desktop. But this is the mobile app and how you would then navigate as well through our field operations module, and you get to see these are all different mobile applications over on the left-hand side. And it's device independent from any iOS or Android device. You can have it on an iPad or an iPhone or a smartphone and still get into prime contracts, change orders, purchase orders, very easily navigating through the mobile device. So hopefully you see that there's a lot of value that we have packaged into the system. Our field operations module is a cloud offer with a SaaS model. You only pay for the users that are using it, and you can see from all the way from the full field operations, from the bidding and estimating to the very end, the job costing, a lot of functionality, $60 a month per user, and it scales with you on your projects. If you have to scale up on projects, you only pay for those people using it and scaling down. So I'm going to hand it back to Jackie for some follow-up questions around how you can improve your margins with your operations on your projects. Jackie?
Yep, thank you, Philip. Terrific. So I'm going to open the chat line up to any questions that anyone might have. So feel free to post. Okay, I have one question that came in regarding integration, and it is regards to can you integrate change orders with 2 subcontractors? And I think that's probably a question for Mike.
Yes. Creating subcontracts from change orders, and that in the procurement side, you can manually go in and you can create a subcontract change order which amends to the original subcontract itself. You can also go in as part of the change order process or the change proposal process. If you have a documented and impacted company, we can also, at the time of creating that owner change order, we can also one more mouse click and create the procurement side of it, which can create the subcontract change order or even a purchase order document.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, well, we've run a bit over time, so I think we'll close out here. I want to thank Philip and Mike for today's session and for the very informative demos. I think that they shed a lot of light into how integrating your field with your back office can, in fact, improve and streamline your operations for improved profit margins. So Philip's contact email information is there, as well as Mike. Feel free to reach out to these guys, or as well as to B4 Consulting. Thank you so much for joining today's session.